What's up everyone, welcome back to the Coral Reef Talk. Today we're talking ReefBum. Today I'm talking with the creator of ReefBum TV, Keith Berkelhamer.
Hey Joey, first of all, many thanks for having me and a big hello out to all of your YouTube subscribers.
ReefBum is a great YouTube channel that's dedicated to the reef enthusiasts, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. Can you share with everyone how ReefBum began and how you became a reef enthusiast?
So how did ReefBum begin and how did I become a reef tank enthusiast? Well, let me start with the second part of that question first. When I was growing up as a kid, my father kept fish-only tanks. And I'm dating myself here, but back then you just didn't have the equipment available to keep live rock and coral, so you kept fish-only tanks. And I just remember going out with him to the local fish stores to pick up fish for the tanks, and I was really just hooked at that early age. In terms of my first tanks, it was soon after I got out of college, and I remember my wife and I going to a street fair in New York City called the San Gennaro Festival, and I won a goldfish at one of the carnival games there. So I had to go out and buy a tank for that goldfish. I bought a 2-gallon tank. That fish soon died, but you know, the addiction had started. So I went out and I bought a 29-gallon freshwater aquarium with freshwater plants in there, live plants. So I did that for a while, and then it morphed into a 90-gallon reef tank. Then it morphed into a 120-gallon reef tank. Then I stepped it up to a 250-gallon reef tank, and then I downsized it to my current tank, a 187-gallon tank. As for ReefBum, that started out as my screen name years ago on reefcentral.com, and what I also did was create a website, reefbum.com, and that site really served as a repository for all the pictures I used to take of my 225-gallon tank. I also had a lot of information about my setup on that website, since I was getting a lot of questions from folks about all the different pieces of equipment that I use. Anyway, a couple of years ago, certain events led my wife and I to move from the New York, Connecticut area up to Vermont here. And what I decided to do was relaunch reefbum.com and start a reef keeping business. And that business is based on 3 main tenets. The first one is cultivation, the second one is education, and the third one is inspiration. On the cultivation side, I'm selling premium aquacultured SPS frags, and it's a really unique shopping experience on my website. In fact, I've created a special channel on YouTube, the ReefBum Frag channel, to showcase all the frags that I have for sale. So on the side I have the video, as well as some vivid photographs of all the different frags, and even some feature articles about the corals themselves. On the education side, I got a blog on my website, so we do a lot of reviews, you know, how-to articles, and articles that provide tips to reef keepers. On the inspiration side, and I talked about the videos, so you know, I take a lot of videos of my tank and corals to try to inspire folks. I have a lot of pictures. I've been doing a lot of ultra close-up macro shots. So really it's just about getting people jazzed up and trying to get them psyched about having a reef tank.
That's very cool to see how your passion for this hobby led you to create ReefBum and to help others by sharing advice, and now it's expanded to offering corals on your website. As for me, I jumped right into saltwater and I did a lot of research and definitely had my fair share of mistakes. Did you have any challenges as a new reef hobbyist?
Yes, I've had plenty of challenges and made a few rookie mistakes along the way. I remember this one time when I had my 120-gallon tank. I had a light fixture and I was trying to get some more punch with the light into the tank. So I had this great idea. This was a light fixture that had a couple of double-ended HQI bulbs, and those bulbs don't have any UV protection on the glass. I didn't know this at the time. The UV protection is on the lens of the fixture. So I saw the guy at my local fish store had a couple of single-ended mobile lights over his display tank, but he didn't have the lenses because he told me that he was going to get, you know, greater par by doing that. So I was like, great, I'm going to run home and I'm going to do the same thing. Well, I ended up frying all my corals and even killed some fish because there was no UV protection when I pulled that lens out. So really the net there is that I didn't do my homework and I kind of rushed to do something to try to get a quick fix. So really my advice is to do your homework, read a lot of books, go to Frag shows, go to conferences, talk to other reef keepers, and be active on the discussion boards. Knowledge is power in this hobby.
I agree, nothing good happens fast in this hobby, and you definitely get what you pay for in regards to equipment and tank automation, which seems to be very important to you. How has that led to the success of your reef tanks?
Yes, automation really does come in handy when maintaining a reef tank, and I do several things in this front. Probably the biggest thing that I do is automated water changes. So I have something set up in my sump room where I have some PVC piping and some ball valves, and so what I do is I flip some ball valves around when all the pumps are off, and it makes it really easy to pump out and pump in water for a water change. So I've got it down now where I can do a 25-gallon water change in 5 minutes. So that's really a big thing for me. You know, I also use a controller. So there's some things I have set up on a controller to make my life easier, but it's, you know, in the end, you really want to try to keep the maintenance as painless as possible, and that's very important in terms of reef keeping. In terms of equipment, yeah, I think it really is important to invest in some quality stuff, because, you know, when you don't, you're going to end up replacing it sooner than later. So if you invest in the quality stuff, it's going to last a lot longer, and over the long haul, you're going to save some money. Just to give you an example, I have a custom sump, and it's really a turnkey sump. It was designed with all the equipment inside of it in mind, so it just makes life a lot easier in terms of keeping the equipment running as it should be and maintaining it. So overall, yeah, I really do recommend if you can spend the money, spend it on the equipment, because you're going to be happy in the long haul.
This hobby is fascinating in that we're always learning something new to keep our tanks thriving. Are there any pieces of advice that you can share that have stuck with you throughout the years?
Yeah, there are a couple of things. Let me first mention stability and keeping parameters stable, especially alkalinity. I know in my tank, when my alkalinity swings around, my SPS are not happy. So really a big thing in my book would be stability and keeping parameters stable. Patience is also really important, I believe, and patience is a virtue in reef keeping. So I think it's important not to constantly be sticking your hands in the tank to move corals around, achieve that optimal look. I think it's important to let Mother Nature do her thing. I also think you need to be consistent, be patient with what you're doing in terms of using equipment or dosing, what have you. It does take a while to achieve those fruits of labor, so patience is certainly key.
Thanks, Keith, for joining me today. How can people find out more about ReefBum and more about your channel and online store?
So to learn more about me and ReefBum, you can go to reefbum.com. You can go to my main YouTube ReefBum channel, as well as my ReefBum Frag channel. You could also find me on Facebook and Instagram.
Thank you so much, guys, for checking out this video. Be sure to head over to ReefBum TV and subscribe to Keith's channel. A lot of great information over there. Be sure to check out reefbum.com. Check out his online store as well. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the Coral Reef Talk.